Welcome to the Street Report Connection with Tommy. This report is going to be about Raw, Superstars, and some WWE news, and some old ECW wrestlers return to the ECW arena for one last show before it gets tore down. And here we go. Well, first, some FCW spoilers. On their TV tapings last week, a title change took place. Third generation star returned as well. Richie Steamboat, the son of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, defeated Damien Sandow to become the new FCW 15 champion at last week's tapings, winning the bout 2-1 in a 2 out of 3 falls. Sandow losing his title could indicate that he's headed to the main WWE roster after impressing officials at recent evaluation matches when he traveled around with the SmackDown crew for the last 2 weeks. Former two-time FCW heavyweight champion Bo Rotunda, the other son of Michael Rotunda, IRS, returned at last week's developmental taping in Florida. That's FCW as well. Bo was stripped of his title last fall, and he has been out of action with a lacerated kidney. It was announced last week that Bo has been cleared to wrestle. Bo is the younger brother of Husky Harris, who was also in action at the tapings. And Husky has returned to action with SmackDown and Raw, or with the Raw shows. WWE will be bringing back the Raw Roulette wheel gimmick tomorrow night's tapings for SmackDown, according to the website for the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. Advertised locally for the tapings is Big Show versus Mark Henry versus Daniel Bryan. Let's see. SmackDown tapings on April 3rd at the Amway Center will go head-to-head in Orlando, Florida, with the TNA Impact Wrestling tapings at the Impact Zone. Diamond Dallas Page commented on his WWE run, says he's the one who dropped the ball, not WWE. Speaking to The Sun, in the interview, Diamond Dallas Page said he has no regrets over the failed 2001 angle that saw him play a stalker who creepily tracked down Undertaker's wife. It's amazing to me how many people it bothered. They knew me, I was a top guy, and they didn't use me correctly. But I agreed to it originally, and that was my mistake. And commented by Page. Vince and Shane McMahon told me coming in that this had been a great idea, and I was going to be working with their number one babyface. I didn't really like it because it was about me stalking someone else's wife. I would look across the table at Kim, that's Page's wife, who posed for Playboy, and nobody could compare. It was ridiculous. It took out the believability factor. And he continued, I get the fans telling me they were upset with how WWE treated me. But I say, dude, let it go. I already achieved everything I ever dreamed of, unquote. And after retiring from the squared circle, Page developed the wildly successful yoga for regular guys workout. Information available at ddpyoga.com. 3-time world heavyweight champion says he recently cut a marketing and distribution deal with Warner Brothers that would blow your mind. But I'm only smart enough to cut that deal because I dropped the ball with WWE when I came in. Page added, I dropped it. I don't blame Vince. I've got a lot of respect for Vince and everything he has done for the business. There are so many guys that have negative, bad feelings after they retire. You've heard them. I'm not living that as I lived a dream, so many different levels. WWE sources indicate that there was indeed heat from officials on Tyler Rex from producing his Mid-Card Mafia YouTube show a few weeks back. Rex made all of his videos private so nobody actually could see them anyways, and has not released any new ones since then. WWE Divas Champion Beth Phoenix is scheduled for this coming Monday's Raw Super Show, which I did not see her on this week. Beth had not appeared on Raw since December 19th, where she suffered the black eye in the match against Alicia Fox, which Fox won. WWE's video game partner, THQ, has reportedly canceled all projects due for release in 2014, according to Kotaku.com. The story states that the company is rumored to be setting up for a sale. However, THQ has since responded and claims they have not canceled the 2014 releases. THQ has not canceled its 2014 lineup and has not made any decisions regarding the planned MMO. Read by a statement. As part of the ongoing review of our business, we have made decisions to ensure that the company is strategically addressing the most attractive markets. As we have previously announced, we have dramatically reduced our commitment to the kids' box games sector, which leads to a significantly more focused release scheduling with moving forward. Our slate for calendar 2012 and beyond is focused on the more high-quality core games and continues to build on our digital platform and business. We are excited for our pipeline of original and high-quality content, along with our relationships with some of the best talent in the industry. WWE and THQ recently agreed to a 7-year licensing agreement, so obviously WWE officials have a vested interest in the company's future. We'll keep you updated on any additional news regarding THQ. WWE star Mark Henry and former WWE star Batista hung out over the weekend at Wu-Tang Show in Austin, Texas on Saturday night. And you can view a photo of the duo with the members of the group at defsounds.com. Hip-hop news. I should have wrote that down. WWE stars attended Wu-Tang Show. Okay. Well, just go to Def Sounds and find the links on there, hip-hop news and what have you. Okay, Henry has been off the house shows over the last 2 weekends. I guess we know how he spent one of those nights. By the way, if you like rap music and pro wrestling, check out TherapanWrestlingConnection.tumblr. That's TUMBLR.com. WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels noted on his Twitter account that he will be at the Las Vegas this week, probably at the SmackDown tapings, as he's also doing his show in Las Vegas where there's a hunting stuff. Okay, when he was asked whether he would appear at SmackDown, he said maybe. Will most likely stop by and visit backstage. Michaels wrote, follow him on Twitter at twitter.com/Shawn Michaels. Michaels noted that he will appear at the SHOT, the Shooting Hunting Outdoor Trade Show event that is taking place at the Sands Expo Center beginning Tuesday, tomorrow, and ending on Friday. Former WWE and TNA star Low Ki is advertised for the March 30th and 31st Dragon Gate USA events in Miami, Florida. He is also booked for the April 13th Evolve event in Toronto. For more details on the shows, visit dgusa.tv. I had a friend of mine that asked me what's been going on with Low Ki. Well, there's your recent updates on what he's going. And speaking of Low Ki, he made a surprise appearance at the Evolve event, which was what I was discussing earlier with the ECW arena, and indicated that it was more than just a one-off appearance. Obviously, he's making good on that with the announcements of these dates. Retired pro wrestler Ole Anderson spoke about being excluded from the Four Horsemen induction into the Hall of Fame. And he's quoted by saying, quote, Vince McMahon hates my guts, and I don't like him either, unquote. Anderson told Mike Mooneyham of the Charleston Post and Courier, quote, "So that's all there is to it," unquote. To be a part of that, anyone with a brain knows who the first four horsemen were. It was me and Arn and Rick and Tully Blanchard, and J.J. Dillon came in later as the manager. So if they don't know that, they don't know anything about wrestling anyway. So what's the difference? Vince McMahon is never going to call me. I hate his guts. So just like he hates me, I hate him back. It's no big deal, unquote. To read the full story, visit postandcourier.com/news /2012 /Jan/15 /Mooney-column-4-horseman-back-saddle. It's another website I should have wrote down. Okay. Randy Orton was supposed to make his return this week, but WWE website has removed him from online advertisements for Monday's Raw, their SmackDown live event in the area, and Tuesday's SmackDown taping. Orton was previously advertised for both events despite his back injury. It appears that Orton's back injury is going to keep him out a little longer, though I suppose it's possibly that the storyline is that they're keeping him off, trying to pull a minor swerve with a surprise entry into the Royal Rumble, and they pulling him from the ads only to have him show up at the Rumble. And Orton is advertised for next week's television events and is also advertised for Sunday's live event in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Happy birthday goes out to Shane McMahon. He turns 42 today. He was born January 15th, 1970. He is currently the CEO and chairman of You On Demand. That's YOU On Demand. Shane has kept a low profile since he left the company of WWE, aside from a couple of business-related appearances at golfing events such as the Masters last year, 2011. He has been married to his wife, Marissa, for 15 years and have 2 boys. Evolve Online pay-per-view results with your ECW originals or former ECW talent, and this report thanks to .net reader Austin Vitelli. Well, he said he ordered the Evolve 10 show last night on pay-per-view. That's Monday night. And it was my first Evolve show that I've seen. And if you don't already know, it's the last wrestling show at the famous ECW arena. I was very excited for this show, but it didn't exactly live up to the hype as much as I wanted. It started about 5 minutes after 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which was the advertised bell time. I too came out to the ring to start off the show with his manager, Larry Dallas. He had an open contract and was willing to face anyone that came to the ring to challenge him. Very much to my surprise, and somebody did accept the challenge, and it's none other than Low-Ki Caval from WWE. Made his return and challenged R2 to a match. Low-Ki defeated R2 at 1 minute 51 seconds. Low-Ki got a very warm welcome from the Philadelphia crowd. Right after the bell rang, Low-Ki hit a massive kick to the head of R2, who then was down on the mat just lying there for the one entire minute. Low-Ki then hit another kick, went to the top rope, and won the match with his Warrior Way double stomp move, which was longer, but because I have never seen R2 before, Low-Ki is a very talented in-ring competitor. I was pretty disappointed with the match overall because Low-Ki, who was easily weighs out about 100 pounds, less than R2, won in 3 moves total. After the match, Low-Ki cut a promo on his wrestling business has bled a slow death. Was pretty good on the mic and was much better than I heard from him in his WWE stint. He said he was here to stay and evolve, which got him another good reaction as he left the ring. Well, match number 2, Cheech defeated Cloudy in 10 minutes and 12 seconds. For those who you don't know these guys, they used to be tag team partners under the name Up in Smoke. But they broke up after the last Evolve event. At one point, Cloudy completely missed a corkscrew suicide dive and was greeted with a "you effed up" chant. A side note, the crowd did this many times throughout the night when someone messed up a move. Very tough crowd tonight. Anyways, at 7 minutes in, Cloudy hit a nice cutter for a 2 count. 8 minutes in, Cloudy then hit a reverse spike Hurricane Rana for another 2 count. At 9 minutes 30 seconds, Cheech hit his finisher to go to Cheech, basically CM Punk's GTS. But Cloudy barely kicked out. Cheech then hit another of the same move to pick up the win. Going in, I didn't really care about this match. I actually ended up enjoying it in the end. It was one of the better matches of the night. Match number 3, The Scene. That's Caleb Conley and Scott Reed. Myself, I don't know who these guys are, just like the previous match. And they defeated John Silver and Alex Reynolds. In 9 minutes 45 seconds, Larry Dallas escorted The Scene out to the ring along with a random woman who they called Samantha. But announcer Lenny Leonard called her their skank. Very classy Evolve. The majority of this match was basic tag action until the 8-minute mark, which is when it started to get more interesting. Reynolds and Silver hit a double stunner from the top rope on Conley. Standard tag team rules were practically thrown out after this, and everyone was on the ring all at once. Eventually, The Scene won with a DDT German suplex combination on Reynolds. I personally didn't care for this match, and I don't really care for much for The Scene either. They just aren't that interesting or exciting. Number 4, match number 4, Jigsaw defeated R. Fox in 11 minutes 9 seconds. I expected the crowd to like this match, considering they were practically dead for the first 3 matches. I assume that many of the original Rabid ECW fans were not there, or it would have been even louder. Jigsaw thanked the fans for coming before the match started. In many of the matches throughout the night, there was nothing to write home about. Until towards the end of the match, Fox hits a Death Valley driver, then a Swanton bomb for a 2 count. At 7 minutes in, at 8 minutes, Jigsaw hit a nasty brainbuster for a 2 count. 9 minutes in, Fox hit a springboard 450 splash on the floor. That looked crazy. Less than a minute later, Fox hit the guillotine leg drop with Jigsaw's head hanging over the edge of the ring. Jigsaw began to take the advantage and won the match with a super German suplex. Then most of the ridiculous super kicks I've ever seen. R. Fox is very talented, and I love watching him wrestle. He sells very well. Jigsaw thanked the fans post-match again, saying that he was going to be around and Evolve a lot throughout 2012. Fox then got on the mic and talked about what happened between him and Sami Callihan at the last DGUSA event when Fox got a beer bottle and smashed it over his head. Callihan then came out, clanking beer bottles into his microphone, begging Fox to attack him. Side note, in Evolve, you are not allowed to attack your opponent or anyone else after your match, or you get fined and suspended. Fox was held back from attacking the referee, and Callihan taunted his way back up the ramp. Yuha Nation defeated Pinky Sanchez in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. This is the first real match I've seen from Nation, but he didn't get much offense. I personally can't stand Sanchez and his comedy antics, so it's a shame that Nation got stuck in a match with him. Lenny Leonard repeatedly referred to Sanchez as the sexual spider monkey. Wow, this was basically a comedy match with some offense from Nation, such as a Samoan drop at 2 minutes and 30 second match. Well, at 3 minutes and 45 seconds, Nation then began to dominate. Hit 2 power bombs, then a slingshot set out power bomb. Then he went on to connect with 2 standing shooting star presses for the win. Post-match, Ricochet, who came out to the ring with Nation as part of the Blood Warriors, cut a promo about the arena is a dump, and said that he's going to win the title later in the night. Rich Swann came out, cut him off by rapping hilariously about out to the ring, making fun of Ricochet. Just for the record, I'd say that Swann got the best reaction of anyone on the whole entire card on the evolve/dgusa roster. Other than Johnny Gargano, Chuck Taylor came out with Swann to a great reaction as well. Unfortunately, this was one of the only moments that the crowd was live. Got a live reaction. Well, match number 6, Ronin, Rich Swann, and Chuck Taylor defeated Super Smash Brothers, Player Uno and Player Dos. What do you think this is? Spanish Uno game? Okay. In 15 minutes and 7 seconds until about the 8-minute mark, it was just standard tag team wrestling. At 8:30 in, Player Dos hit a diving leg lariat from the top rope for a 2 count. At 9 minutes 45 seconds, Swann hit a rolling thunder for a 2 count of his own. At 10 minutes 45 seconds, Player Dos got the advantage by hitting him a crazy double Pele kick on Ronin. There was an excellent tag team action for a full 3 minutes span. There was also a very funny spot where everyone was in the ring at once. So the refs hit the non-legal men back to their corners, but they actually switched corners by accident. Just like on some of the video games, they change angles. At 12 minutes, Taylor hit a sick Death Valley driver on Player Uno on the apron. 13 minutes in, Swann got a 2 count from a standing shooting star press. Well, at 14 minutes, Super Smash Brothers hit a double team backbreaker on Swann. Then they connected with another crazy double team where Player Uno stood facing the turnbuckles, holding Swann back to back in the air. Player Dos then jumped off the top rope, did a flip, and connected with an insane cutter on Swann. But Taylor must have been the legal man as he came out of nowhere and hit the awful waffle on Player Dos for the victory. This was my second favorite match of the night. All Ronin are just great talents, so I love to see them wrestle whenever I can. Post-match, Taylor asked for a match with Ricochet and CIMA, CIMA, for the United Gate Tag Team Championship. Well, they had intermission at that point, which had lasted about 25 minutes. They showed various video packages for the past Evolve and DGUSA events. They also showed 2 great video packages of the rises of Johnny Gargano and Ricochet, saying this was a rematch from Evolve. 3 win they were at the bottom of the card. Match number 7, John Davis defeated Kyle Matthews in 4 minutes 30 seconds. There was nothing really special about this match, although it was pretty entertaining. Davis won with a spinning set-out power bomb where Matthews started on his side on Davis' shoulders. It looks like a very painful move, especially with the strength of Davis. Davis then cut a promo afterwards talking about the disrespect he felt from Finlay last time they were at an Evolve show. Yes, that's Dave Finlay, formerly of WWE. He challenged Finlay to a match but received the what treatment the whole time. The crowd could not have cared less about either Davis or Matthews. Match number 8, Bobby Fish defeated Sami Callihan in 15 minutes, 59 seconds. Might as well say 16 minutes. R. Fox came out to the ring with Fish. Leonard hyped the match, saying that both men were in serious need of a win. Fish was 1 out of 4, and Callihan was 3 out of 2 in Evolve. Actually, 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 win and 4 losses for Fish. Callihan had 3 wins, 2 losses in the Evolve company. At 6 minutes in, Fish locked in the figure 4 leg lock to some woos from the crowd. At 11 minutes 30 seconds, both wrestlers teased their submission finishers. At 14 minutes in, Callihan locked on the stretch muffler, whatever that move is. But Fish eventually made his way to the ropes. Callihan had the advantage, but Fox spit on him from the outside. Callihan tried to retaliate and spit back, but he misses. Fish then surprised Callihan from behind and locked in the fish hook. What is this, a shark boy? Submission for a hold. He made Callihan tap out for the victory. This was a very good, hard-fought match, and my third favorite overall in the night. Callihan and Fox into a verbal fight afterwards, with Fox this time asking Callihan to hit him Fox continued to taunt and even handcuffed his hands behind his back. Callahan called out Sanchez, who brought a beer bottle, but Callahan didn't hit Fox for fear of suspicion. The DUF members sulked back out of the ring and off the stage. Okay, DUF, I'm not familiar with that tag team. Well, match number 9, Johnny Gargano defeated Ricochet to retain the DGUSA Open, the Freedom Gate Championship, in 24 minutes 25 seconds. Ricochet came out with Uhaa Nation, and Gargano came out with the rest of Ronin. There was solid action from the beginning with many counters and stalemates. 11 minutes 30 seconds in, Johnny Gargano tried to four times to hit a release powerbomb on the outside. Finally got it, sending Ricochet to the guardrail. The crowd booed Gargano for this accolade. About 12 minutes 30 seconds, there was blood bleeding from the mouth of Gargano. A minute later, Ricochet hit a diving cutter for the second rope for a 2 count. Another minute later, Ricochet hit an exploder suplex into the corner. Then a standing shooting star press for another 2 count. 16 minutes 45 seconds, Gargano hit the lawn dart, which is his signature move. Although I really liked this match, the crowd booed everyone in the majority of the match, and I just didn't care. Gargano then looked on in the Gargano escape, locked in the Gargano escape at about 18 minutes 30 seconds, but Ricochet got to the ropes. Ricochet then hit another shooting star press about 20 minutes in, but still no 3 count. Ricochet went for another shooting star press, but Gargano attempted to counter it in midair. Unfortunately, Gargano completely missed and was practically booed out of the arena. At 21 minutes, Gargano hit the Hurts Donut. Yeah, it's called Hurts Donut. How could a donut hurt? At 23 minutes and 30 seconds, Ricochet hit a 630 flash. Wow, that's more than 450. But Gargano got back with another Hurts Donut. I guess some donuts hurt after all. Gargano then immediately locked in the Gargano escape, and Ricochet finally had to tap out. Clearly the best match of the night by far. Gargano was completely exhausted afterwards, possibly injured, and needed medical attention. The crowd finally gave him the respect he deserved with the "Thank you, Johnny" and Gargano chants as he left the building, and seemingly in a lot of pain. And the final segment, the video feed froze after Gargano left, so it missed the Joey Styles entrance. When the feed came back in, he introduced many people, such as Gary Wolf, that's Pitbull number 1 from ECW, JT Smith, and Todd Gordon. They all received warm reactions from the crowd until a randomly group of wrestlers appeared from the back wearing Combat Zone Wrestling gear. They were led by a man that I think was DJ Hyde. I'm not sure. I don't even know who many of the CZW guys are myself. Well, they said that they own the building because they put on more shows than ECW did in the history of the arena. Well, Balls Mahoney then came out. Yes, Balls Mahoney of ECW. And attacked the CZW people with a chair. He disgustingly hit one guy straight in the head with no protection. What the heck? Then was overwhelmed by the numbers game. New Jack then came out. Yeah, New Jack from ECW as well. Then came out with a trash can full of weapons and attacked CZW people, demolishing everyone in his path. Just Incredible returned. Then came out of nowhere with a cane and attacked New Jack to a huge chorus of boos. Sabu came out and next started an impromptu match with Just Incredible. Sabu defeated Just Incredible in your final match, which was match number 10. In 9 minutes 36 seconds, Credible used and splintered the cane throughout the match. Sabu at one point held a chair to his own face and ate a super kick that busted him open above the eye. Then introduced a table where Sabu was placed with a chair on the top of him. Just Incredible went for a splash onto Sabu, but Sabu threw the chair at him. Sabu then produced a spike and butchered Credible's face with it. Credible later hit the That's Incredible Tombstone Piledriver for a 2 count. Sabu then gained the advantage and hit an Arabian facebuster through a table for the victory. Sabu probably got the best overall reaction out of anyone on the entire show. Post-match, Sabu was about to speak when Sami Callihan attacked him from behind. Callihan cut a good promo about how the era of Extreme should just end, and that all the Extreme reunions were stupid. R. Fox came out and attacked Callihan, but Pinky Sanchez came out and took care of him. Callihan finished his promo and closed out the arena in a very interesting way. And the notes from the reporter says that this is his third ever pay-per-view, and I definitely rank this one as the least compelling of the three. There were too many matches that seemed pointless when they could have made it a solid 7-match pay-per-view with all the matches being of good quality. The show ran until 11:30 at night, meaning it was a 3.5-hour show, which in my opinion seems too long. Well, everybody got their money's worth, Mr. Reporter. And he goes back to saying the crowd really killed the show overall, though. So it wasn't really all the wrestlers' fault. They didn't care about practically anything other than ECW guys. So it made the event feel less special. That's not to say that there wasn't a good action on the show, because I really enjoyed the main event, the Fish Callahan match, the SSB/Ronin tag match. I should also make a note that there was no attempt to avoid unprotected weapon shots, so I hope everyone was okay. Overall, I would not really go out of your way to see this show, but it certainly beats the mainstream stuff that WWE and TNA has been putting out lately. Well, that report was by that dude. Well, Sting has got it's WCW Sting, and now he's in TNA, addressed rumors on his new Twitter account. TNA Star was asked on Twitter, and his Twitter account, twitter.com/Sting. Well, that goes. If you didn't know, I just told you so. He said, quote, rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated, unquote, as he reported. And you can follow him, twitter.com/Sting. Sting launched his Twitter page on Friday, and there are rumblings every year that he's on the verge of retiring from the ring. It has to happen eventually, but only he knows whether that will happen this year. Well, celebrity gossip blogger Perez Hilton spoke about his appearance on WWE Raw while backstage in the building in Anaheim tonight during the Raw program. You can view the video at this link. Okay. Wait, when bloggers wrote celebrity in the headline, I certainly, it was certain, I didn't even know who the guy was at first anyways. The guy in the video was actually the little person from Game of Thrones. Scratch that out. About the person in the video actually being a celebrity. Will Pruitt was at the Raw show in Anaheim, California, and sent along Superstars taping results. Justin Roberts came out to welcome us to the show. The post-WrestleMania video package was shown. Scott Stanford and Josh Matthews were at the desk for Superstars. Royal Rumble recap from 2008 shown. Match number 1, Santino Marella and Mason Ryan defeated Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex. Santino pinned Hawkins following the Cobra in an 8-minute match that didn't have a ton of action. Match number 2, Jinder Mahal defeated Alex Riley, who finally returned to Superstars again. Jinder won with the camel clutch in about a 4-minute match. Lots of USA chants, but the crowd was silent when Jinder won. And now for Raw. I didn't see any dark matches reports yet, so that will be on tomorrow's SmackDown report. Annual MLK video tribute aired, as it's MLK Day. Opening video play, Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler checked in from ringside and hyped that we are less than 2 weeks away from the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Well, Mick Foley was introduced by ring announcer Justin Roberts. Meanwhile, back at the OK Corral, it was announced that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan would face a team of Mark Henry and Dolph Ziggler. And Zack Ryder is scheduled to face Jack Swagger for the U.S. title tonight. Cole questioned whether Ryder will physically be able to defend the title. Well, Ryder appeared and he was saved up. So I guess he was actually cleared to wrestle. But he may have been just injured. I haven't seen any doctor's reports yet or any reports on that. Okay, well, Foley stood in the ring and soaked up some cheers before getting the obligatory cheap pop out of the way. Foley said he was initially happy to return in a non-nostalgic role. He recalled headlining WrestleMania in Anaheim with his wife and two of his sons, two of his kids in attendance. Foley said his other kids weren't old enough to see it. Thus, Foley announced his intention of being one of the entrants into the Royal Rumble match. Vicky Guerrero interrupted. Excuse me, my daughter just wanted to be in the video somehow. If she would sit down, please. Okay. Well, he soaked up the cheers before getting like I said, he was initially happy to return in a non-nostalgic role. He recalled headlining WrestleMania in Anaheim with his wife and two of his kids in attendance. Foley said his other kids wasn't old enough. Foley announced his intention of being in the Royal Rumble match. Well, Vicky Guerrero interrupted. Excuse me. Excuse me. Or three. She and Dolph Ziggler walked onto the stage and then headed to the ring. Michael Cole reminded viewers that Vicky is banned from ringside during Dolph Ziggler's title match at the Rumble. Ziggler took offense to Foley showing up and taking one of the 30 golden tickets to WrestleMania. Foley said, yeah, I sure did. Ziggler said that he's been to one of Foley's stand-up comedy shows. He said if this is a bit, then he gets it, and he thinks it's funny. Ziggler did an impersonation of Foley's children, cheering as he entered the Rumble, and then being disappointed when he was eliminated seconds later. Foley admitted that would happen, so he says that one of the great things about the Rumble before you get hurt with that 10-pound belt. Well, okay, he admitted that it will happen. He said it could be one of the great things in the Rumble, as you never know what it is going to happen. He says possible he'll find magic. Foley says he wants to perform in front of his two kids, but he's not just there to participate. I'm not just in the ring, I'm in the Rumble to win it, Foley said. Ziggler said he worked all over. Sit down, please. Okay. Well. Okay. Ziggler said he worked all year long to improve himself. He claimed to have beaten John Cena last week when he ran away. He said CM Punk beat CM Punk two weeks in a row. He talked about his credentials, and they called Foley a glorified stuntman. Ziggler said Foley came to make a fool out of himself one more time. For once in your entire career, you succeeded. Ziggler said Ziggler told Foley that it's over. He then told him to eat a salad and go away. CM Punk's music played and he headed to the ring carrying the WWE Championship in his hand. Punk said he and Foley are alike, and in that they don't attempt to look or talk like every other superstar. He said they also don't hide behind a woman. Punk said he and Foley have earned everything they've achieved, unlike the guy with the referee in his back pocket. Punk mocked John Laurinaitis by calling him Johnny. Nobody gives a crap about me, Laurinaitis. Punk vowed to retain the WWE Championship despite having the deck stacked against him. And do you want to know why? Punk said. Because I'm the best wrestler in the world.
I'm just feeding him, Daddy.
Punk said he will win at the Royal Rumble and go on to defend the championship at WrestleMania. And he thinks it would be cool if he defended the belt against Foley. John Laurinaitis walked onto the stage and said he had an announcement. He said that he would be unbiased during the Punk versus Ziggler match. He also said that in an effort to show how fair he can be, he said he would consider Foley's request. Well, that only took about 2 or 3 seconds. Laurinaitis, he said he thought long and hard about Foley's request. My answer is no. Laurinaitis left stage. Foley didn't look pleased. Vicky started laughing and got in Foley's face. He said no. And she said, ha 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 ha. They shot air to Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston walking backstage. Cole said, you may notice that they didn't have their championship because they lost it at a house show. Yes, at a house show. They lost it on supposedly last night's show at the live event. As Evan Bourne tweeted that sorry, and apologize to the fans. And hopefully they get a rematch. Well, they lost the rematch tonight on Raw. Very good opening segment. The additional of Foley, and I assume it will still happen, would be a nice extra hook for a Royal Rumble match and wouldn't require him to expose his limitations. Ziggler did a nice job on the mic, though I wish he would dress the part. I'm for the guy trying to stand out, but not dressing like every other heel in a suit. But his ode to John Johnson neon shirts made him look low budget. That said, everyone involved and shined, and Vicky laughing maniacally at Foley was hilarious. Unfortunately, the announcement of the tag title match change left a lot to be desired, so hopefully the follow-up during the match will be better. Match number 1, Primo and Epico with Rosa defeated Kofi and Evan Bourne to retain the WWE Tag Titles in 2 minutes 15 seconds. The announcers narrated highlights of the title change footage. Lawler drooled over Rosa, and Cole said the champs have nearly been unbeatable since she joined them. Eric Boom controlled the bulk of the offense and scored a couple of near falls. Bourne tagged in and set up for his finisher, but the illegal men in the match fought at ringside and distracted him. Epico recovered and knocked Bourne off the rope. Epico hit the backstabber and scored the pin. Camera immediately cut to Rosa jumping at ringside to celebrate. The match was much quicker than I hoped it would be, but they did a good job of establishing the new tag champs as being somewhat vulnerable while putting over Rosa in a big way. They could have done a lot more to establish that. And they could have done this with the Usos as well, because they're well talented as well. Backstage, David Otunga said, you know who was waiting outside the door. Otunga let the man in the room, and Laurinaitis informed him that he would be teaming with Daniel Bryan and CM Punk to face the team of Henry, Ziggler, and Otunga. The camera showed a smiling Chris Jericho. He turned off the lights and in the room to show his glowing, flashing, lighted jacket. So he's jacked up tonight. Okay. An ad for SmackDown hyping Sin City SmackDown for Friday. I'll be surprised if we get a major Jericho development swerve tonight. World title matches are already set, so my guess is that Jericho doesn't show his cards during the main event, which he didn't, or they put him in a temporary feud with David Otunga before going to a heel turn at the Rumble. Either way, the already entertaining show just got a lot more interesting. Okay. Announcer spoke at ringside about the main event. Lawler said Otunga gave Laurinaitis an envelope that contained a doctor's note regarding Zack Ryder. Backstage, Josh Matthews interviewed Ryder and Eve. Ryder, who had his ribs taped, said he would not forfeit his title. He said he was going to the ring. Eve said she was going with him. A video recapped the Kane drama for last week. Jack Swagger and Vicky Guerrero made their entrance for the U.S. title match. They set up a nice hook in terms of Ryder entering the match wounded. Plus, it's still possible that Laurinaitis could intervene based on the doctor's note that Lawler mentioned. Jack Swagger with Vicky Guerrero defeated Jack Swagger to win the United States title in 2 minutes 25 seconds. Swagger jumped out. To an early advantage as Ryder sold his injuries. A Let's Go Ryder woo-woo-woo chant picked up briefly. Swagger dominated the match and hit a gut-wrench suplex. He targeted Ryder's back throughout the match and finished him off with a gut-wrench powerbomb to get a clean win. Announcers then hyped the 6-man tag main event. Good story with Ryder being protected due to a storyline injury, and Swagger looking like a badass while roughing up the injured Ryder. Very good shows thus far. Commercials. A WrestleMania video hyped The Rock versus John Cena. The tickets are on sale now. The video that WWE officials probably didn't think they'd have to produce. If someone had told you 2 years ago that The Rock versus Cena going to headline WrestleMania, I think most of us would have assumed it was a quick sellout. This year, not so much. Backstage, a trainer checked on Ryder while concerned that Eve sat by. Laurinaitis entered the room and said he just opened the doctor's report. He said Ryder should not have been allowed to compete. My bad, Laurinaitis said. Eve got upset. Laurinaitis told her to shut up. Okay, Eve is doing a nice job of showing concern and now frustration tonight. Just as like my daughter interrupting my video here. She's not much, okay, back to the report. Eve's not treating Ryder's character like a tool. Maybe they should have pointed out that the match shouldn't count since Ryder wasn't eligible to compete. Isn't that how Mark Henry retained the World Heavyweight Championship when Daniel Bryan cashed in the first time? Well, there you go. Justin Roberts introduced Perez Hilton. Who the hell is that? Who received a mix of boos because most of the fans in the crowd probably didn't know who he was either. He ran down the ramp and searched for hands to slap. He wasn't very successful. Once he took the mic, he was booed heavily. He introduced the Divas match. He did a pretty good job of introducing the Divas. First out was Kelly and Alicia Fox, and they defeated the Bella Twins in 1 minute. Bella's tried to do the twin magic, but Perez Hilton pulled one of them out, so they couldn't do the twin magic like they normally do. Kelly pinned the legal Bella for the win. After the match, one of the Bellas shoved Hilton, who took the worst bump ever. Babyface duo intervened on his behalf. Announcers then hyped Daniel Bryan would provide an update on AJ's condition later in the show. For those that don't know, she got injured on SmackDown due to a shoulder block from an unintentional shoulder block from Big Show in their championship match. Cole's scripted endorsement of Hilton was comically forced and awful, yet even they had nothing on the bump that Hilton took. Did old man Vince confuse Perez and Paris Hilton? By the way, Will Pruitt pointed out that actor Dennis Haskins was also at ringside, actually sitting behind the announcers at the announcer's table. Well, if you're not familiar with Mr. Belding, well, that's Saved by the Bell character. Royal Rumble flashback, focus on Ric Flair winning the match, 1992 Royal Rumble. It was a great moment for Flair and Flair's fans, despite the haircut. R-Truth made his entrance. Before he could speak, Wade Barrett's music started to play. Okay, I lost my spot. Okay, R-Truth made it before he could speak. Barrett headed to the ring dressed in his ring gear, whereas Truth was in his street clothes in the ring. Barrett questioned whether R-Truth was actually a real name. He said Truth will hereway Barrett be named the winner of the Rumble match. He took exception to the idea of Mick Foley entering the match. R-Truth said little Jimmy wants to know if anyone ever told Barrett that he talks funny. Truth set up a photo shots of himself at Disneyland with the Disney characters because they were next to Disneyland, right across the street, so he said. One of them had Pinocchio's nose growing because Barrett had told a lie that he said he would win the Rumble. Miz then attacked R-Truth from behind. Truth started to get the better of it. Barrett stepped in. Sheamus ran out, teaming up the sides. Sheamus and R-Truth cleared their heels from the ring. Teddy Long walked up the ramp and said that Laurinaitis was busy tonight and it's a super show, so he's taking charge. Long then booked an over-the-top rope challenge between the foursome. R-Truth defeated all of them in the over-the-top challenge in 4 minutes 15 seconds. Okay, so R-Truth's street clothes consisted of a shirt, which he removed suddenly, and basically he's in his wrestling gear. Barrett was dumped by all 3 men in the first minute and 25 seconds of the match. Well, at 3 minutes 50 seconds, Sheamus started beating his chest and yelling, broke. Well, the crowd didn't join him. He went for the kick and missed. Miz pulled the rope down and he crotched himself. Sheamus over the top, but did not go to the floor. R-Truth recovered and eliminated both men as they came back in the ring, and both were eliminated. And Sheamus comes back in, blasted Miz with a brogue kick at ringside and pointed at R-Truth for respect. First, Hornswoggle, now R-Truth. Sheamus is the most gracious Battle Royal loser of all time. I don't know about you, but suddenly I see R-Truth as a threat to win the Royal Rumble. Wait, no I didn't. Backstage, John Cena was pissed as he stormed into John Laurinaitis' office. He was hot because Laurinaitis allowing Ryder to compete when he was injured. Laurinaitis said it was just a mistake. He booked Kane versus John Cena for the Royal Rumble. Laurinaitis also booked Cena versus Jack Swagger for after the break. Cena left the room and Laurinaitis went to the back texting again. Commercial break. John Cena fought Jack Swagger to an apparent no contest. Cena came out and beat the hell out of Swagger in the ring. And then at ringside, Cole said it was just ridiculous that the match was even allowed to start. Cena had Swagger lying over a piece of ring steps. He took down at him and picked up the other piece to break him apart before he could slam the stairs that he had already broke off because he was staring them down, trying to get approval from the crowd, which kind of did. But he was interrupted by Kane's music hitting and the explosion. And Cena dropped the steps and re-entered the ring. Kane appeared on the video screen. Very impressive, Cena. Very impressive, Cena. Kane said, I think you're getting it. By the time we meet at the Royal Rumble event, you will have embraced the hate. Good. Use your aggressive feelings. Boy, let the hate flow through you. WWE tooted their own horn for winning an award in the UK. Match number 6, Brodus Clay pinned JTG in 1 minute with his new maneuvers. Brodus and his dancers did their routine. JTG rolled his eyes at ringside. Cole and Lawler both laughed whenever Brodus danced. Should I beat him? Clay asked during the match, asked the crowd. He picked up JTG and yelled suplex. I'm pretty sure you can figure out what followed. He finished him off with a short time later with a move that Cole said he called "Oh Funk It." Looked more just like a body press to me. There was someone in the crowd who liked it, but it did not seem like Funkosaurus fever was widespread. The fans were into the power moves and some of the dancing during the match, but the post-match dancing didn't seem to get much of a reaction. So perhaps, okay. Another Sin City match aired and showed a graphic for Daniel Bryan versus Mark Henry for the World Heavyweight title. Announcer set up the footage of Big Show running over AJ from SmackDown. Daniel Bryan came out and accused Big Show of not apologizing and intentionally harming AJ. This is Daniel Bryan's full heel turn, I believe. Bryan said she will never be the same. He dedicated his SmackDown match to AJ and said he would show her how much he loves her on Friday. Possible storyline marriage proposal? Well, we'll see. Lawler asked whether anyone ever thought that AJ wouldn't have been at ringside if it wasn't for Daniel Bryan. Ring introduction for the main event took place. Bryan just headed to the ring, and then the lights went out for Chris Jericho, who slapped hands and went all over the top celebrating as he headed to the ring. He even reached back like 3 rows to slap one guy's hand. He made a trip to the announcer's table and exchanged points with Mr. Belding. He stopped and took a photo of a couple of fans at ringside. They even took their digital camera and took photos with them. First of them, and then he leaned back and took a photo of him with them. Lots of boos for Bryan. Well, after he was doing the photo thing, they went to commercial. And so the heel turn is clicking. Meanwhile, one correspondent at Raw said Brodus received a big pop when he came out. No word from Will Pruitt, who was too concerned with scoping out the merchandise stand in hopes of finding his own light-up jacket. Jericho was still making his over-the-top entrance after the break. Funny CM Punk made his entrance. Remember that I'm the best wrestler in the world. Line from earlier when it comes to Jericho. He also turned around and showed off the best in the world slogan on the back of his t-shirt, while standing on the ramp. The heels were already in the ring. Mark Henry, Dolph Ziggler, and David Otunga defeated CM Punk, Chris Jericho, and Daniel Bryan due to a reversal decision in the six-man tag by John Laurinaitis himself. Punk and Ziggler started. Cole said it was a preview of the Rumble match. Daniel Bryan went and tagged in early and was worked over by Ziggler. Cole said Bryan was trending and chalked it up to internet geeks with nothing better to talk about. You know, for once, I actually... Never mind. The fans greeted Otunga with a small "You Can't Wrestle" chant. Punk eventually made a hot tag to Jericho at 5 minutes 45 seconds, who did nothing in the ring. Crowd popped huge. Jericho played it up and then suddenly tagged in Bryan. Then left the match. So it ends up as a handicap match till later on when Mick Foley comes out. But okay, when Daniel Bryan didn't know he was barely even tagged in. Jericho smiled and said, "Yeah!" over the top, and obviously manner while walking to the back. Hilarious. No point in giving away too much with Jericho before the Rumble, since his likely opponent is CM Punk already has a match with Dolph Ziggler at Rumble. Live crowd was super hot for Jericho, and the way he played it up only to walk out without having to do anything was awesome. The match continued after the break. Eventually, Mark Henry and Daniel Bryan brawled to the back. Mick Foley came out and told the referee that John Laurinaitis gave him his blessing to work the match. Foley grabbed the tag rope in Punk's corner, and the match continued. The crowd chanted for Foley while Ziggler worked over Punk. Punk made the hot tag to Foley, who then went to work with punches on Otunga. Crowd loved it. Foley did the running knee in the corner and followed up with a double arm DDT. Foley pulled out Mr. Sacco and applied the mandible claw on Otunga until the referee rang the bell to start the match. Restart the match, actually. Well, at 10:01, the match actually ended. John Laurinaitis is coming to the ring, called out over the mic, and Foley's music stopped. Laurinaitis headed to the ring and said that he never told Foley that he could appreciate him would participate in the match. He said he was reversing the decision and gave the win to the heel team. Punk took the mic and told Laurinaitis to shut his mouth. He said Laurinaitis would take his balls out of his purse and lay them on the table. Punk said Laurinaitis doesn't like him, and it has to do with who he is not. Punk said Laurinaitis had to look when he was a sports entertainer, but he sucked. Punk said it has to be difficult to have a brother who was one half of the Road Warriors while never amounted to roadkill. He said it continued. Punk said it had to be difficult to have a brother who was one half of the Road Warriors while never amounted to roadkill. He said it kills Laurinaitis that whenever he never made it to the higher level to WWE, he said he went from being someone who sucked to someone who sucked up. He said he's accomplished more in the last year than Laurinaitis did in his entire life. Punk said Laurinaitis can't stand that he's the WWE champion, so he's going to screw him at the Royal Rumble. Punk said it doesn't matter what he does because he's still better than him. Punk said he's going to make people talk about Laurinaitis. He said it won't be because of a GTS or an Anaconda device. It will be because he looks like he went through a meat grinder because CM Punk just kicked his pathetic ass. Punk wound up and teased hitting Laurinaitis, who ducked out of the way. You're pathetic, Punk said. Before dropping the mic, Punk left the ring and held the belt over his head while walking toward the ramp. Inside the ring, Foley held up a thumb. Laurinaitis picked up the mic and introduced himself in his usual way before saying he is the soon-to-be permanent general manager of Raw. I am not pathetic, Laurinaitis said. Foley said Laurinaitis should at least have the decency to admit that he's going to screw Punk. Foley called Laurinaitis a kiss ass. Fans chanted, "You suck," at Laurinaitis, who asked Foley who the hell he thinks he is. Laurinaitis admitted that he will screw Punk. I do my job, and I do it well, he said. I am sick and tired of being disrespected. I am sick and tired of being pushed around. And I'm sick and tired of being bullied. Well, Laurinaitis then said he puts on the most entertaining show for the WWE Universe, and he's not appreciated for it. I'm not going to take it anymore, he says. I'm not going to take it from you. I'm sick and tired. Laurinaitis wound up and slammed the mic into Foley's head, and the crowd booed as Laurinaitis left the ring. Great mic work by Punk again, and even Laurinaitis shined in his own meltdown. He made the most out of not having an NFL or bowl game competition. Foley was reintroduced in a relevant manner, and I hope to see him in the Rumble match. Ziggler doesn't feel like a major threat aside the screwjob factor. He's on the rise, but it's a slower rise than I would prefer. Overall, an interesting night that set up aspects of the Royal Rumble well. Though not the actual Rumble match, Foley's comments helped, but everyone should be talking about the Rumble. They also told effective stories with Zack Ryder and John Cena. It wasn't the perfect show, but it was a significant improvement from the previous weeks. And that will end my show for this week. And I'll stay tuned for SmackDown tomorrow night.